Top 5 of the damned pictures. There are paintings. The phenomenon of harmful actions are left without explanation in the world. But exactly these pictures were killing their owners and silhouettes shown on them, as if descended from the canvas, causing horror and madness of their owners. We bring you the top 5 of the damned pictures. Number 5. Venus Near the Mirror, Diego Velázquez. This picture with a gorgeous naked woman who was depicted on it brings bad luck to its owners. A Madrid merchant, the first owner of the painting, was ruined. His ship with goods became constantly suffer shipwreck. Ships were continually sinking and the crew members were dying in the water. He became bankrupt and committed suicide. He dropped off the bridge into the sea, which took all his goods. Another owner of the painting paid by the warehouse in the port after one of them was struck by lightning, while others carried huge waves that arise in the ocean. The next owner of the painting was turned strangled and dumped in the water by robbers in 3 days after the acquisition of the painting. Finally, in 1914, one tourist sliced Venus Near the Mirror in the gallery, putting an end to the water curse of the painting. Number 4. Crying Boy, Bruno Amadeo. Painter and also the father of the boy who was depicted on it, achieving real emotions of his son, painted him in the light of a lit match. The boy was terrified of fire and crying all the time. One day, sobbing, he shouted, "Burn yourself," and soon died suddenly. After some time, there was a fire in the house of the artist, which burned everything except the picture of the crying boy. Later, this painting became popular in England and its copies were scattered across the country. And after some time, it was announced that the painting was damned because absolutely every house where a reproduction of the painting was located was the event of a fire. And everything was burned down in the fire except the picture. When the story was publicized in newspapers, the fires were flamed across England, which burned thousands of copies of Crying Boy at night in 1985. Number 3. The Cossacks are writing a letter to the Turkish Sultan Ilya Repin. The painting was recognized as the most optimistic and cheerful product of Russian art. Friends of the artist became prototypes of the main characters. However, bad luck caught up with each who was shown in the picture. One person became a drunkard and domestic tyrant, and his sons committed suicide after a quarrel. Another person became a bankrupt and ended his days in a shelter for poor people. And the third one was in exile, where he died when he was doing hard labor. Mystic rock caught up with people who were depicted in the other portraits of the artist. Thus, the portraits of surgeon Pirogov and the composer Mussorgsky were finished the day before their death, and Stolypin, the reformer, was shot dead the next day after Repin finished work over the portrait. Other artists' models have also been overtaken by premature death. Number 2. The Scream, Edward Munch. A mystical curse is associated with this picture, which is confirmed by real stories. Dozens of people who came into contact with the painting later fell ill. They were fallen into severe depression or suddenly died. One day, a museum employee accidentally dropped the painting and he began to feel a terrible headache. The attacks became more frequent and severe, and finally he committed suicide. Another worker dropped the painting when he changed the location of the picture on another wall, and a week later he was in a terrible car accident. And once, one visitor to the museum, despite the prohibition, decided to touch the picture with his finger. A fire happened in his house a few days later. He was burned to death. Number 1. Hands That Have Resisted Him, Bill Stoneham. This painting is considered to be the most feared in the world. The author depicted himself at the age of 5 years with his little sister on the painting. When the painting was exposed at the exhibition at first, then a mentally unbalanced people saw it, they began to lose consciousness, crying and fighting in a hysteria. When the picture appeared in the home of a wealthy family, the 4-year-old daughter came running into the bedroom of her parents, shouting in the first night. She saw that the children are fighting in the picture. The next night, she reported that children from the painting were outside the door. After that, a video camera, which responds to movement, was installed in the room with the painting. It triggered several times during the night. The painting was immediately put up for online auction and was bought by an extraordinary connoisseur. If you liked this video, put likes and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.